Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
This podcast is for you. So if you have a retirement question you'd like us to address, reach out to us online anytime at matsonfinancial.com. It's one thing to make a financial mistake that costs you maybe a few dollars, but then there's the financial mistakes that we make that might end up costing us a lot more. Let's say a few $100,000. This week's list comes to us from Yahoo Finance on Money Mentors, the retirement mistakes that could cost us $100,000 or more. And it turns out there are a lot of these that could end up costing us six figures or more. So I thought we'd go through these this week because maybe the best way to learn is from other people's mistakes here. Number one on their list is, this is kind of obvious, living above your means. I mean, you can't just keep spending like drunken sailors, right?
Yeah, in fact, we have a client that actually came very close to divorce. Again, they retired, multi-million-dollar retirement, and they lived very, very modest all this time. And so one of the people in retirement decided it was time that, hey, we're going to bust it open. We're just going to spend whenever I want and whatever goes on, and really didn't have a conversation or a plan. And all of a sudden we started watching the money dwindle. And then we raised the red flag and said, you know, you're not Santa and you're not going to have this money very long if you continue on this path. This is the thing that really you got to look at. Even if you won the $1 billion lotto and you don't put restraints or plans in place, you will run out of money. In fact, that's one of the biggest things about lotto winners is that a vast majority of them become bankrupt because they don't follow a plan.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so like this, you need that plan to know what your means are.
Well, the next one on the list might apply to some of our younger listeners out there, and that is delaying retirement savings. The younger you start, it actually can make a six-figure difference in your retirement lifestyle.
Yeah, this was a specific conversation I had with my son, Porter. I'm like, because the career he's talking about, going into criminal justice, thinking about doing he likes the thought of being a conservation officer and he loves to be outside and do stuff. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
He's like, but Dad, I don't think I can get rich off of that. I'm like, I like that you're thinking about money, but first of all, think about what you enjoy doing. I said, when it comes to money, first of all, we had to talk about number one, live within your means, right? You're going to love your job. Not a lot of people can say that first and foremost. But two, if you're living within your means and you're putting money away from your discretionary or planning to put money away, if you do the math, son, $2,000 a year from age 18 to 28 can be over $2 million by the time you're 65.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
playing the long game.
Yes, you've got time. So the sooner you start, the more that compounding interest is going to be a bigger factor, and life is going to happen. You're going to get married. You're going to have kids. Stuff is going to happen. You're not always going to be able to put away the same amount, or maybe you are. We don't know. But if you start early, that gives you more flexibility. And I guarantee you that when you retire, if you do and have the discipline now, you'll have the freedom later, because I'm not leaving you anything. I'm going to try and spend it all anyway. So you and your sisters can fight over the house.
Reality check for Porter. I love it. Well, number 3 on their list here of the mistakes that could cost you big time in retirement, and that is ignoring inflation. I mean, I know that Laurel's mentioned this time and time again here on the show. People come in with their spreadsheets, and a lot of times what they forget to factor in as they're trying to map out their income on their own in retirement is this thing called inflation, right? They don't remember that, hey, costs do go up over 20, 30 years in retirement.
This is huge. And one of our clients spoke to us a couple weeks ago, and he said, you know, we concentrated so much on getting into retirement. He said we never looked at the factor of having raises and all those things through. And he says, thank goodness you guys did. And what I mean by that is this, is that when we have a client walk in the door, yes, we're going to show them that they're going to have the income, they can retire. But our goal is to make sure in 24 years that their money is going to be doubled. In other words, if you walked in the door with $1 million in 24 years, we want that to be $2 million. And they're kind of looking at me at first, and I'm going like, well, here's the reason why. It's not that you're going to have this great much more money to give away. It's because inflation. Whatever is costing you $1 today in 24 years is going to cost you $2. And do you want to reverse or go backwards in lifestyle? And they say, no, I don't want to go negative, or I don't want to not have a new car or be able to travel, all those things that we're doing. So you have to have the money growing for you to have that. Inflation is something that's going to happen. Yes, we've been very fortunate. We've had actually some negative inflation and very modest inflation, but it's coming. And so that's why it's so important for us to have our clients take money from growth, not from principal, so that they can maintain that lifestyle. Even if there's kind of getting in the elderly area, in the slow go stages, you still need it for property taxes and things you're going to do. We're seeing people downsize in the size of their home, but the dollars they're using to buy that new home is equal to, or maybe even a little more expensive than the larger home they've got. So once again, we have to have the funds to do that. That means they have to grow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, our next ones on this list here, I'm going to kind of lump them together because they all deal with the same topic, and that is diversification. So they talk about, putting all your eggs in one basket. That can cost you. Ignoring alternative investments, and then being too conservative too soon. That all goes back to how you help your clients diversify their portfolios.
Yeah, especially putting all your eggs in one basket, it makes it easy to carry. I think you taught me the saying, makes it easy to carry. Or you picked it up from somewhere, but I'm giving Gary credit for that one. Like, makes it easy to carry, but if you drop that handle brakes on that basket, well, there goes everything. So you want to have that active diversification, that active plan. There's a lot of different investments out there. It's okay to diversify. And when we say diversify, it just doesn't mean stocks and bonds, right? That's a portion, but there's a lot of different investments out there that will offer you some protection as well as some upside growth. So talking with a fiduciary advisor to really gauge what your plan is, what your timeline is, really allows us to reverse engineer what those investment strategies and those investment vehicles should be based off your goals.
And that's why it's so important to have different streams of income. One of the things we always talk with our clients that we want to see about 3 as a minimum, or up to 5 or 6 different areas where we're going to draw income. Because again, like Gerald said, if you've got nothing but stocks and bonds, and let's face it, in the last 25 years, a third of the time stocks and bonds go negative, you're going to find yourself running out of money. And that's the worst place you can find yourself, waking up one day and say, I've got nothing left. And here I've got this much life left. That's not a fun place to be in. So once again, having different streams of income means you have to have other types of investments other than stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you get to the conservative too soon option, is the markets are going to do market things. It's okay to be conservative at times and then be more aggressive at times and shift with what is going on in your world as it lines up with the market. It's okay to change your risk capacity and your risk tolerance, how you feel, that emotional reaction you have to the market, right? That's a real thing. And now we're dealing with more and more clients who were working during the 2008 financial crisis. They're not retired yet, but they know, hey, 5, 6, maybe 7 years, I want to be retired. So they kind of bridge that gap. But I saw what happened in my 401k back in 2007, 2008. I can't have that happen now, so I just don't want to be in the market. Well, you're going to work another 7 years. Let's talk about this, and let's understand why you're feeling that way and make sure we come up with a plan that's right for you so you don't give up on gains just because you want to be conservative based off past experiences.
Yeah, and understanding that you have opportunities.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, that when we get people coming in for the first time that feel that 2008 big downturn, they're going, I don't want anything like that again. We ask them the same question, is that in 2008, what was going on? Were you still working? Did you still contribute to your 401k? Yes, we did. Well, guess what? You're buying that opportunity. We're going to show you how you do that in retirement to take advantage of what the market offers. Once you see that, you kind of relax a little bit knowing that your long-term plan, your long-term retirement is going to be solidified with opportunities. You've got to take advantage of those.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.